ex is suffering today.
2025 dating recap. Mind you, I started off the year single, and we are ending the year very single, not even dating. I'm like living the dream, you know, strong, independent woman. Just guess I'll never have anyone to share that with. I guess my haters are right. Like, no one wants to date an OnlyFans girl.
Guys, my name's Haley and I just got divorced 2 weeks ago and I'm really lonely, but I'm also really happy being alone, and I want a boyfriend, but I want to be single and I want to have like multiple boyfriends, but then again I just want one boyfriend. And
gentlemen, welcome back. Today's story follows one woman's journey through a year she documented almost entirely online. From the beginning of the year to the end, she openly shared her changing emotions, dating experiences, reflections, and the lessons she believed she was learning along the way. What makes this timeline interesting isn't a single moment, it's how her perspective evolved over time. As the months passed, her views shifted, her expectations changed, and some of the conclusions she reached near the end stood in sharp contrast to where she began. Rather than relying on speculation, we'll follow the story through the videos and updates she chose to publish herself, comparing what she expected with what ultimately unfolded. Let's start at the beginning and work through the timeline one step at a time.
I'm 38 years old. I'm a single mom.
I hope your ex is suffering today.
So I went on a really good date on Saturday. This dude got me thinking about having more children. If you haven't been following, I started seeing a new Little League coach. Do you know how many times I have downloaded Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge this year and then immediately deleted them? If I want to get intimate with you, I'm not gonna like make you wait just for the sake of making you wait. Like, what? So you'll like me more? Quick update on my dating life. Very quick. I'm done with Little League coaches. Done with them. 2025 dating recap. Mind you, I started off the year single, and we are ending the year very single, not even dating. I'm like living the dream, you know, strong, independent woman. Just guess I'll never have anyone to share that with. I guess my haters are right. Like, no one wants to date an OnlyFans girl.
Looking back over the year, she shares a series of moments that show how quickly her outlook on relationships changed. Early on, she spoke about the past with lingering frustration. As the months went by, she entered new relationships with optimism, adjusted her expectations after they ended, and continued documenting each stage of the journey. Along the way, she openly discussed what she was looking for in a partner and the standards she wanted to set, inviting thousands of people to weigh in on those choices. As the year came to a close, her reflections became noticeably more introspective, with her acknowledging that some of the criticism she had previously dismissed deserved a second look. Her timeline isn't defined by a single event, but by how her perspective evolved over time. It illustrates how experiences, disappointments, and self-reflection can gradually reshape the way someone views relationships, expectations, and the choices they make moving forward.
Another thing that I'm jealous of that men really lucked out on is hookup culture, because it literally only works for them. But somehow, like, and I don't even think that the men convinced women to be this way. I think women convinced themselves, like, yeah, like if I just sleep with him, like it'll be better for me. And it's like, I just know the men sat back and thought, you're right, sweetheart, let's try it. Let's try it out, let's see. I think you're gonna love it. And now, like 10 years later, the women are like, oh my god, we didn't love it. We didn't love it.
I just saw a video of a girl saying something along the lines of, her boyfriend worked like 12, 13 hours, said he was too tired to like stop and pick up food on the way home. Been there, done that. And so she was like, I'm cooking him and taking him dinner. The very first comment, when I opened up that comment section, and what does he do for you, sis? Okay. I'm going to talk in a very broad sense. In this generation, it's all about me, me, me. I, what do I get? What do I want? Since when did it leave everybody's brain that a relationship was supposed to be a partnership? When did that leave? Common sense has left the building. And everybody, me, what does he do for me? What does she do for me? What do I get out of this? What am I going to get? I'm not going to be in a relationship until I get everything that I need.
Looking back on her story, she makes it clear that the decisions she described were ultimately her own. At each stage, she weighed her options, chose the direction she believed was right, and moved forward with it. What stands out in hindsight is not simply where those choices led, but how differently the outcome felt compared with what she expected at the time. That contrast between expectation and reality becomes one of the central themes of her journey. Her experience leaves viewers with a broader point to consider. Major life decisions often bring consequences that can't be fully predicted in the moment. The people around us respond to the choices we make, but we also have to live with the outcomes those choices create. Her timeline is ultimately a reflection on expectations, accountability, and how perspective can change over time.
Don't date women with tattoos, like a lot of tattoos. I'm so sorry, but someone needs to say it. Someone needs to say this. And hi, my name's Jenna Nicole. There are some population studies that have found that people with tattoos have higher rates of mental illness history. Also, sleep issues, impulsivity, and risky behaviors. This was compared to non-tattooed groups. Also, highly visible tattoos, as well as the more tattoos that they have, correlate more with these types of behaviors. Now, mental illness doesn't have to be permanent, and people grow and evolve all the time. But often there are outward expressions for people's character, and this could be one of them. If you want to be naturally magnetic to high quality women, I wrote a book on it.
I have a theory that the more attractive you get, like the less likely you are to actually get a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Like, if you're a 9 out of 10, you're cooked. You're never getting a girlfriend.
At this point, the focus isn't on adding new arguments or drawing fresh conclusions. It's simply on following the story as she chose to tell it, letting the details speak for themselves. Over time, she shared a wide range of experiences, reflections, and changing perspectives. Taken together, those updates paint a fuller picture than any single clip could on its own, allowing viewers to draw their own conclusions from the timeline.
Where are all the good men? You need more than one? Well, I need options, a pool of people to choose from. Oh, so we're shopping for men now. I just want to be able to choose wisely. A net catches more bees with honey. What does that even mean? You don't need a bigger pool, you need a better signal. Right now, your energy is saying, where are they? Why aren't they here yet? Instead of becoming the person who attracts the right one. So it's about me again. It's always about you. So then what do? Shift your energy from scarcity and desperation to high value and self-trust. At that point, you won't even need all the options because the right one will come to you.
By the end of the year, she openly acknowledges that some of the criticism she once dismissed now makes more sense in hindsight. Looking back, she reflects on the choices she made, the image she presented, and the outcomes that followed. That leads to a broader question worth considering. Were the results primarily shaped by her own decisions, or were some of her expectations influenced by ideas about relationships and independence that didn't match the reality she eventually experienced? The answer is unlikely to be the same for everyone, and different viewers will draw different conclusions. Her story ultimately suggests that personal choices and outside influences can both shape our lives. The challenge is recognizing which parts are within our control, learning from experience, and deciding what to do differently as the next chapter begins.
Guys, my name's Haley and I just got divorced 2 weeks ago and I'm really lonely, but I'm also really happy being alone, and I want a boyfriend, but I want to be single, and I want to have like multiple boyfriends, but then again I just want one boyfriend, and I think I want to get married again, but then I never want to get married again. And I love living alone, but I'm actually kind of think I could live with someone again. I want to be someone's girlfriend, but I also don't want someone telling me what to do. I want my freedom and autonomy, but I also want to be cuddled and loved at night. I want to go on dates and somebody to hold my hand and cuddle with, but I also want to go home by myself every night. And I want to talk to multiple people, and whoever's talking to me, I don't want them talking to anybody else. I crave emotional intimacy, but I also don't want to report to anybody. I want somebody to be obsessed with me, but like from a distance, respectfully. I miss having a person, but I don't want to have to explain myself ever again. I want passion and clinginess, but then I also want to disappear for 2 days and not answer my phone calls or text messages to anybody. I want a relationship where we're so deeply in love, but also strangers at the same time. Like a man who knows that I'm independent, but also like doesn't want me to be independent.
This is the next chapter. Just 2 weeks after the marriage ended, she's already talking through the same habits, expectations, and patterns that she believes contributed to the relationship breaking down. She shares it all openly, almost in real time, while still adjusting to a completely different life. Her 2 children are living through this transition alongside her. That shifts the conversation beyond the adults involved and toward the environment they're growing up in. It leaves viewers with a thoughtful question. When children witness conflict, emotional struggles, and major life changes, what lessons are they absorbing about relationships, resilience, and communication? Every family handles those challenges differently, but it's a reminder that the examples adults set can shape how children understand relationships for years to come.
I'll never forget this case. It was heartbreak. There was this, I think he was 10-year-old little boy, and he used to say to his dad, when you drop me off after our visit, can we stop before we turn onto Mom's street? And I'll give you a hug and I'll tell you I love you. Because then when we get to the house, I'm gonna get out of the car and yell that I hate you and I never wanna see you again, and I'm gonna run up to Mom's. Because this kid at 10 had figured out that if he let Mom know he loves Dad, that Mom would be mad at him and she would be cold to him. And he also knew that his father loved him so much that he could do that and yell at him and he would understand. And so they had this routine for 2 fucking years where they would pull up and get out of the car and he'd hug him and he'd tell him he loved him, and then he'd get back in the car and he'd pull up to the house and the kid would get out and slam the door and yell, I hate you, I never want to see you again, and run back up to Mom's, and Mom would shuffle him in, my poor baby. What do you think that does to a kid? What do you think that does? What effect do you think that has on a kid? How could you create conditions like that and claim you love that kid?
Looking back at the story, one moment stands out because of how clearly it reflects the family dynamic she describes. Her son's reaction suggests that, even at a young age, children can become remarkably aware of the emotional patterns around them. As the year unfolds, she shares her own reflections from beginning to end. Early on, much of her attention is focused on someone else's actions and the emotions surrounding the past relationship. By the end, however, her perspective becomes more introspective as she begins to reconsider some of her own assumptions and choices. Her timeline highlights an important point. The way we frame our experiences often shapes the path we take afterward. Growth usually begins when attention shifts from what others did to asking what we can learn from our own decisions and how we want to move forward.